Well, for many families, the holidays bring back a lot of memories of lost loved ones. It's a difficult time to cope with that loss. Joining us now is Paula Casas from Chicago Psychoanalytic Institute to talk about how many Latino families are handling many of those issues. So thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
I want to start by talking about this latest headline that we've had in the last week or so, and that is the officer who passed away. Obviously incredibly difficult for his family, but also incredibly difficult for a community that rallied behind that family and how they deal. What advice you would give to neighborhoods and communities that are dealing with that significant loss?
It's an important question you ask, because I think we often as well talk about disenfranchised loss. Obviously, we feel the loss and pain for his immediate family and the support they need. But the entire community, the city, is grieving. And it's important to recognize we all grieve differently. It comes in different shapes and sizes. And the most important thing is to respect our neighbors, respect our colleagues, respect everyone in the way they may need to talk about it or not, and support one another, and just recognize that the way I grieve is different than the way you grieve because of our personal experiences, our previous experience with loss.
Yeah, it goes to the whole idea of open-mindedness, right?
That's right.
Understanding others. I want you to explain what the Psychoanalytic Institute does, the role that you play here in Chicago. Give me sort of the 30-second pitch on what it is.
Yep. So we've been around since 1932, the Chicago Psychoanalytic Institute, and we are dedicated to training students and therapists in the theories and practice of psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. We run 3 clinics, and we provide treatment and therapy for both children and adults.
Okay, and you specifically focus on the children's side of this, so child therapy. And I think I was reading some of the numbers that say 20% of the children that you see are Latinos.
That is correct, and there are actually 3 clinics within the Institute, and I work specifically in the Children's Grief Center. So we support children who have experienced a loss, broadly defined. Obviously that includes the loss of a parent, a sibling due to death, but we also deal with situations of trauma, abandonment, and divorce. And within the city of Chicago, we have 5 clinics, including the suburbs, northwest suburbs, and we see about 400 children a year, primarily for individual therapy. We also go into some of the Chicago public schools, as well as some of the schools.
What's your role at the Chicago public schools?
We go in and we run groups. We go into the schools. Often the schools approach us because they have a lot of kids who have experienced trauma or loss, and they see a need. And so we get in there and we run groups, usually in the schools. And then at our 5 clinics in the region, we do one-on-one therapy with the children and also support the parents and how they support their children.
You know, I thought it was interesting that you said that 20% of the kids that you work with are Latinos, because I think therapy is not something that within the Hispanic Latino community, that it's often not talked about, and 2, they really are hesitant to seek treatment, I think, many times.
Absolutely, and I'm so thankful again to be here and be talking about this topic, because I've worked in the field for many years now, and I have started to see a shift, and I'm hopeful that the more we can educate Latinos.
A shift in people going to get treatment within the Latino community.
Absolutely, that there is still a stigma, we don't talk about things outside of our family, we have to figure it out. But I think the more we educate and the more services are available to families, they are beginning to tap into them. It's important that we make them culturally appropriate, make sure that we have them in the languages that people need.
And you do that there,
We do. We have several therapists at the clinic that speak Spanish, and we are able to work with parents and their families independent of their ability to pay. No one will be turned around, even if they can't afford it or don't have insurance.
Okay. For more information on the Institute, where can they get it?
Absolutely. They can go to chicagoanalysis.org, and for the Children's Grief Center specifically, they go to Barr Harris, BARRHARRIS .org.
Okay, important time of year to be doing this, because it does, the holidays, I think sometimes, even though it's a wonderful time and we're all celebrating, I think for a lot of people who have lost a loved one, it's a time where they're grieving sometimes. It's a difficult time, I think.
It is, absolutely. And what I always say is important is to remember we have to respect everyone grieves differently within a family. People have different traditions, and if the family feels that that's helpful and comforting, they should keep those up, but they should also feel comfortable changing things, adding new traditions to make things more manageable for them.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.